So I'm going to talk to you guys about the World Cup and why the World Cup is the best sporting event. A few fun facts first. The World Cup is actually the most viewed sporting event. There's over 7 billion people in the world, and according to manintelligence.org, 3.2 billion people actually watched the 2010 World Cup. That's almost 46% of the world's entire population. The World Cup also has an increased birth rate as well. 9 months after Germany hosted the World Cup in 2006, their country's birth rate actually increased by more than 10%. 10% doesn't seem like a lot, but birth rate is something that is stable and doesn't really change that much. And to put that into perspective, since 2006, Europe as a whole's birth rate has only changed 0.07%. And then 9 months after Germany hosted the World Cup in 2006, birth rate increased by 10%. This could be because of the fun nature and excitement of the World Cup, or it could be because of fun fact number 3, beer. Over 750,000 liters of beer were sold in the stadiums during the 2010 World Cup, and that is equivalent to 3,170,064 beers sold. But don't get too worried, because I don't think too many people were that drunk, because 390,600 hot dogs were also sold as well. I'm here to persuade you that the World Cup is the best sporting event on the earth. I'll talk about why the World Cup is worthwhile, wholehearted, and worldwide. I've watched the World Cup every single game, almost every single game, since the 2006, 2010, and 2014 World Cup. They're typically during the summer, so I get to get up and won't just watch every one of the games. And now I'll give you a brief background on the World Cup. The World Cup came from its success of the Olympics. It used to be an Olympic game, but it was doing so well that FIFA wished to have its own world championship, so they did that. Uruguay was actually the first country to host the World Cup because of their success in the 1924 and 1928 Olympics, and it was to also celebrate their 100th year anniversary of independence, so they were a shoo-in to get that bid to host it, and they actually ended up winning the first World Cup as well. The World Cup is very worthwhile. It consists of the best 32 teams in the world over a 4-year period. Qualifications for the World Cup typically start up right after one World Cup ended. It's not just like a 1-year play-in, it's over a graduate of time. And each team also only takes their best players because their roster is typically 23 to 24 people on a team. So in all honesty, the World Cup 95% of the time contains the best players in the world. So it's very worthwhile to watch the best soccer or football players. The World Cup also only happens once every 4 years, and it only lasts for 1 month in the summer. So it doesn't happen too often. So whenever it does happen, it's very hype. Like the event as a whole, it doesn't have to happen that often. So it makes you want to watch it because of how rare it is. And the passion of the players and the fans are pushed beyond previous limits because of how often it happens. The World Cup is very wholehearted as well. Because of all the passion, pride, and persistence that all the players play with, the players are only in their prime for so long, most of them between the age of 20 and 32. And if you think about that, since World Cups happen every 4 years, that's really only enough time to play in 3 World Cups at the most. So because their time is on the clock, most players play with as much passion as they can because they really want to win, because at the most, typically you'll have 3 chances. Most players only really get 2 if they're good enough. The players aren't just playing for themselves as well. It's a chance for them to represent their country. For some countries, like the poorer countries, if they were to win or even just to be in a World Cup as a whole, it brings so much hope and joy to their country and belief that they can come out of any kind of struggle that there is. And the fans also get to show their love for their team. This is a chance for them to actually feel a part of something in their country as well. If it's a poorer one, they get to feel like they're a part of the soccer team, that the more that they advance, the more that the country's also advancing as a whole, when it may not be. The World Cup is also worldwide. It can literally, the World Cup can literally consist of every single country. All 195 countries get the option to play in the World Cup. Every country gets that option, so even the poorer countries get to participate. It's not just the more richer ones. They ask each country individually if they would like to participate, and the ones that want to are in it. And after the countries have decided, the FIFA, they make like brackets, of course, and the brackets go from like 195 countries and it ends up going down to just 32. A couple of years ago, one of the teams that actually made the World Cup actually had some players that were just picked up from the side of the road in one of the poorer countries. The team's goalie was actually in charge of a local supermarket. To put that in perspective, some of the teams that actually make it just go on a good run, and they're just picking up teams on the side of the road because they don't actually have a soccer team. They have some soccer players, but some teams don't have a goalie, so they picked up a guy in the supermarket that just wanted to do it. There's been a total of 20 World Cups that have actually happened, and even though every country gets to participate, only 8 countries have actually won. Brazil has the most wins with 5. Italy and Germany both have 4 wins. Argentina and Uruguay both have 2, and then England, France, and Spain all have 1. As I mentioned earlier, 3.2 billion people, almost half of the world's population, tuned in to the 2010 World Cup. I know that number includes the whole tournament as a whole. That's not just one game, it's all the games in total. So 3.2 billion people didn't necessarily watch just one game. But to put things into perspective, I'm going to compare the 2014 Super Bowl, which featured Bethany's new favorite team since moving out to Colorado, the Denver Broncos, and the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to compare that to the 2010 World Cup final between Spain and the Netherlands. The Seahawks' victory over the Broncos, sorry Bethany, was seen by 111.5 million people. That's a lot, but Spain's victory over the Netherlands was seen by 909 million people. I realize that the Super Bowl is a predominantly United States event, but just to think about almost 1 billion people watched a single soccer game, to me, that's just mind-blowing. I'm going to show you guys a quick video of how much passion and everything that the players play with, especially when it comes to the World Cup.
We're looking for somebody with physical toughness, mental toughness.
Give me freedom, give me fire, give me reason to take